Look forward to it so much. So tonight we are doing some upcycling. Everybody's got Christmas cards laying around, unless you just, decide to get rid of them right away. And for whatever reason, I can't. So I have some here, and of course, I have some molds, and I also have a nice cup of tea. So if you come on, grab yourself a beverage, and that's my decaf Earl Lady Grey. I love it. So I'm going to pull up the video, and I want to try to follow comments because sometimes when I have the screen down and I'm working, I don't always see them. So hopefully I'm going to try to do that. If I can find me live here. Okay, we're on. Okay, I don't want any feedback, so I'm going to turn this down. So, okay. I just wanted to make sure it was working, but I'm going to turn it down here. Yeah, it is. Okay. I want to make sure we're all set and good to go. All right, we're good. Okay, so let's get rolling. Sorry it took me so long to get going. Okay, so I recently have had a real mold pouring craze. So I'm going to show you some of the molds that I have. Some of them are wet, so I can't pick them up right now. But these are some older ones. This is an IOD mold, and this one is so perfect for this time of year with the cherubs. And I'm going to be showing you a little trick about ones that face each other. And then these were from Redesign with Prima last year, and they are ornament molds. So these are easy. Same thing with these. We can do the two-sided. And then these are angel wings, and they're always nice this time of year. That's a nice idea for an ornament. So I've poured some molds. I want to show you this too. I have one that's wet, but these are little molds that I got that are I got it from Etsy, and these are just little cake decorating molds. See the detail in these? I think they're really pretty. I have an upcoming project with these, so stay tuned for that. But I just think I love the detail in there. Of course, I always love the detail in molds, but I just think they're really pretty. So I have 3 more that are getting set up here. Now I'm going to put the screen down. Sorry about the hand, but that's part of it here. Okay, so as you can see, I have a mold setting up here. This is a Redesign with Prima mold, and it's frames. So I've already poured a couple of those, and I'm going to show you what they look like. Here's the little one that fits in the middle. And then that's the medium one. And then I'm setting up a large one here too. And I have the trees. Now, I want to show you, I over poured these molds. One of the trees earlier I did that with, like up at the top of the tree. Can you see what a mess that is? I'm going to have to get in with an X-Acto knife and trim that so that it shows the definition of the tree. So you want to be really careful. And I had these really nice, and then I thought, oh, I'll just put a drop or 2 in there, and I over poured. So this one ought to be getting set up pretty good, but the inside one I just poured not too long ago. So yeah, see, that one is coming out nicely. See, they're flexible when you first take them out unless you let it get really solid. So okay, so that's the big one. So I'm going to let that set aside. So you notice I have a little extra on here. That's when it looks like that, it's really easy to get rid of. See, I just tore it off. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. It needs to get firm because right now it's just kind of a little loosey-goosey. And also this mold, and you can see I over poured this one too. That's not set yet. This one's starting to get set. See, that one popped right out. It's just little flowers. These are so cute. I think these would make great bracelets. I love to make jewelry. I'm going to be going nuts with these molds here. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave that one set a while. So I want to show you a trick with the molds. So I'm going to set this one aside too, and then we'll get busy doing some painting and decorating. But so this is one of the molds in that Cameo set. Okay, I think it's so pretty. And I set it over here. Okay, I'm gonna put it back here. Can you see that good? Okay, these are in your way. Try to get a little closer here without going crazy. Okay, well, anyway, this came out of this mold. So I'm just setting it back in there, but we're going to try a little trick with this. So if you flipped it over, it would fit in the mold the same way. So that tells me I can do a back-to-back mold. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit of ribbon ready. And these scissors are not the sharpest, but I don't want them looking all stringy. Of course, I guess it'll be inside our mold anyway, so it won't matter. Okay, so again, I always use Amazing Casting Resin. Okay, that's the 2-part epoxy that dries white, and it cures in about 20 minutes. There is also a clear formula, but it takes about 48 hours to dry. 24 to 48 hours. Okay. So we're mixing up a mold here. So you use part A and part B, and you use equal parts. And I don't measure. I just kind of guesstimate. So these are my 2 equal parts, and I'm going to pour it into this cup. And they come with these little cups, but I learned a trick just the other day that was a game changer for me. See, as long as you pour these molds and then all of a sudden you learn something. But if you watch Jamie Ray Vintage, Zeb the other day gave this little hint, and I thought, this is awesome, and it is very true. So these little things, these little cups, they don't have a lip. So if you pour out of them, they're not like rolled. So if you pour out of them, you're gonna kind of have a mess. So if your cup has a little rolled edge, then it'll pour beautifully for you. So thank you, Zeb, for that hint. So I am mixing this resin together, and it gets cloudy at first, and then it'll get clear, and then you're ready to pour. So we're going to do a little trick here with this, and we're going to pour this mold, and then while it's still wet, we're going to put the other one on top of it and let it mold together. Let's see if this one's ready to pull. Not really, but I'm going to pull it out. But look, I want to show you this real quick before my resin sets up. You can take scissors at this point and just cut that excess off. And then a lot of times once it's hard, I'll use a nail file and clean up those. I use a nail file a lot when I'm working with the molds. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make a double-sided ornament here. It's just a cameo, but we're going to make it into an ornament. Okay, looks like we're full to the edges. I don't want to mess with it too much here. Okay, so what we're going to do is just take a little piece of ribbon here. I'll use this one. And I'm just going to lay it down in here. That seems a little long, but that's okay. We'll go with it. So I'm just laying that down in the wet mold. And then we're going, boy, I feel like that needs to set up just a minute before I put this on top. I'm going to let that set up a minute. So I'm going to set this one aside. So I also want to show you a couple things. So if you don't happen to have any Christmas cards, you can go to Graphic Fairy and you can print out these adorable little graphics. They have a ton of them. I love vintage Santas, and then they had some Santas that were with different color coats. So I printed a few of those out, but I do have some over here that are ready to go. I want to keep an eye on this because I don't want to let it get past that point that it's not sticky anymore. Okay, so this Christmas card, I'm going to take this part of it off. Okay, can you see here? This is getting white. That means it's starting to set up. So now I think is a good time. I'm just going to carefully place this on top of the other one. I feel like we're pretty good and lined up. Okay, I don't want to touch it anymore. I just want to let that, I see a little bit coming out over the sides. I maybe should have waited a few more minutes. Yeah, it's moving on me. I don't think my table's level, for one thing. That's okay. We can clean that up just like we did the other one. You can use an emery board. There's a lot of material there though, so I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit with the stick. Get rid of some of it. It's starting to get thick, so, but that'll help get rid of some of that bulk. It spreads it out, and then all I have to do is wait until the mold sets up and then just peel it off there. So should be able to read your comments this evening if you make any comments, because I have another device here. So feel free to say hi. Okay, so I just cut out the little bottom part of that angel, and there's actually another one underneath it. So if you wanted to make this a couple times, you could. So this is the very smallest of the frames that I did. So I'm just gonna kind of size this up where I want it. But before I do that, I'm going to paint it. So I brought home, well, I have quite a collection here at home anymore. So I do my lives from home, but most of my supplies are at my store. So that's why I always say I bring it home. But so Barn Red is a great Christmas color, and that's what we're going to use for this ornament. And I brought all kinds of fun stuff to embellish with as well. So as you know, Dixie Belle chalk paint, well, you may not know, but it dries really quickly. But look what great coverage you get on that. You want to make sure you get the inside as well as the outside of the frame. We'll go ahead and get a couple of these painted up so they dry so we can assemble them. Okay, so you can see with this one, I got a little extra material on the inside of the frame here. After I let it dry, I'll try and clean that up before I put it together. So yeah, you want to try to avoid over pouring if you can. But if you do, now this one's really hard, but if you do, you want to catch it right away so that the material is a lot more softer. It's easier to work with. It's easier to cut with just scissors. I have paint over me all the time. Okay, so if you didn't see the Halloween challenge, you want to check that out for sure. And then watch the entire playlist because there's a lot of awesome videos on there. But we have another challenge coming up. It's a Christmas challenge, and that's going to be out on Black Friday. And then there's another challenge too that's later in December, December 18th. I'm going to put this up a second. Pardon my hand. I hate, I should do it. Should do it with my other side. Then I don't. Yeah, if I do it with the other hand, then you won't see it. But at any rate, the other one is December 18th, and it's we're kind of giving away a piece of furniture, each of us, to like a charity. So the community will pick someone, like you reach out to an organization and they pick a deserving person for, or a person in need, rather, of a piece of furniture. So that's coming up too. So all kinds of fun, exciting projects. Okay, I'm gonna unmold this little, this guy, and I'll show you what I mean by overpouring. Look, these two are kind of sticking together. All three of them are, so I definitely overpoured. So if you can see, those two trees have a lot of extra material. The one in the middle came out pretty good. Pretty impressed with that one. So I'm going to be making a whole bunch of these trees for my project. I'm just going to use the scissors again and my right hand to put the screen down. I'm just going to cut this a little bit so you can see how easy it is to cut this material when it's soft. I still want to get in there with an X-Acto knife, which I don't have one right here, but that'll definitely help. And I also have a little Dremel, so I can use that on it too to clean it up when it's really hard. But I'm just trying to get the bulk of the excess material off of there while it is soft. I really don't want to touch that ornament for a while, but I'm dying to. So I hope your week is going well so far. I can't believe how fast time is flying. Oh my gosh, everybody says the same thing. It's unreal. So, okay, so we got it cleaned up a little bit, but definitely have more to do. Do that with this one too. Okay, I'll show you my plans for another ornament. We can work on that frame as well, and that way it'll be dry and then we can assemble it. So anytime you mix up some molds, or you pour some epoxy and you have some left, just make sure you pour another mold. You don't ever want to let it go to waste. So, okay, so I'm going to take this one because I want to do this Cardinal, and I think I'll use a green. Now, there's a couple different greens here. Evergreen is a really good Christmas green. Kudzu, I love as a Christmas green. It's like, to me, like the vintage Santa green. And then Palmetto is another pretty green. So, I think my evergreen is kind of dry. And it is. And you know what? I never throw away paint when it's like this. You can wet that paint and dry brush with that. So don't waste it. But I'm going to go ahead and use some more liquid palmetto here. Okay, a lot different. Okay, put the screen down again. Oh boy. I don't want to drop you. We've had all kinds of crazy things happen during lives, so it wouldn't be surprising. So this is a pretty color, this palmetto. It's like a little deeper, richer green. So lots of people are saying about, you know, after Halloween, then you can go right into the Christmas season. Well, you know, I definitely want to pause and give thanks during November. Definitely want to savor the time that we have, but these months do fly by. And when you do crafting, and which is something that other people don't understand, you know, if they're not um, in the retail world, or they don't craft or something, they don't understand that you have to do this stuff early. It's not like we're rushing the season. It's just, you know, there's only so much time. So you kind of have to do it when you early enough. I mean, some people do Christmas stuff in the summer, but that doesn't mean they're celebrating Christmas then. But hey, Christmas is so good, you could celebrate it all the time, right? Because it's not about the gifts. Okay, it is really a pretty color. I mean, I've used it on furniture before, but not so much in, you know, in crafting. So, or thinking about it as a Christmas color, and it really looks pretty. Okay, again, I really want to see how this is going on. I'm definitely going to have to trim some of that. Just not sure 100% if it's ready to unmold, because I can't really see it. I just hope I have it lined up okay. If not, we'll try it again with a different mold. All right, so we're gonna have to let this dry just a tad, which just be a few more minutes. But as you all know, I definitely don't use the hair dryer anymore. All right, so let's see. I'm impatient. Let's see. Ooh, yay! So look what happened. We have extra material, but it's soft right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim it, and then we'll take a look and see what we've got. Actually able to just kind of pull some of that away. I want to be able to get the detail in here because there's a lot of really pretty detail around the edges on this. Sometimes when it's like this, you can just use your fingernail and just kind of get in there. Just pull it away. That's working pretty well. But I definitely want to clean it up a little bit more later with a blade. But we're not doing too bad here, actually, at all. Because I would like to paint it for you so you can see the beauty in these molds. Okay, so again, I over poured a little bit there, but we're just going to pull it off of that ribbon. And same on this side. It actually doesn't look too bad. Okay, so isn't that pretty? All right, we'll do one side at a time on this one. I really like the fact that it's just kind of really pretty and pristine, but I think what we can do with that one is let's use Gemstone Mousse and Amber, and we'll paint one side at a time with that. And I'm going to go ahead and stir it up. This stuff's oil based, and you want to stir it every time you use it because it tends to separate, and it'll tend to get real like kind of waxy if you don't. So it is like a consistency of mousse. The gold has a little bit different consistency though. It tends to act a little more like wax. And I don't have any paper towels here. Okay, so like I said, we're just going to do one side at a time, but let's just get in the details here. Isn't this gorgeous? And I spoke about the Rays, Zeb and Jamie Ray earlier. They actually used this mold and real silver and made some cameos with that. So I was pretty impressed with that too. I love their channel. As a matter of fact, it was probably one of the biggest influences on me to start a channel. Because they're so down to earth. I thought I can do that. Isn't this so pretty? And then I also brought home some other good stuff like Gypsy dirt to give these pieces some age. So we'll be doing it all. We'll let this side dry and then we'll come back and do the other side. Isn't that amazing coverage? And the shine, I just think it's beautiful. Okay, it really looks like bronze. Until you see the little white spots that I missed. But we'll come back after them. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. Let's see what's happening. All right, our red frame's still a little wet, but it's not super duper wet, so I'm gonna see if I can find, oh good, there's a pencil. Oh my gosh, I forgot about my tea. I'm just gonna put this up a second. My phone's real loose in there. I hope it doesn't come down. So anyway, just having a sip of tea. That's so good. I have a chip in my mug. That's not good. Pioneer Woman. I just love Pioneer Woman stuff. Okay, time to put the screen back down. Again, this is so loose on here. I'm going to fix that so we don't lose you. Okay. All right, so we have our little, we can put this one out of the way. So we have our little tree scene here, our little church scene. And I'm going to trace around the outside of this frame to cut around, because then we're going to glue it on there. And if you come on, say hi and if you're working on anything Christmassy. So then we're just gonna cut around there. If that needs trimmed, I can trim it. There's also this little piece of stuff on the back there that was giving it some dimension. And you know, you could take a piece of felt or something, or maybe scrapbook paper that was Christmas or anything, wrapping paper, and then just cover up the back of it after you get it glued on. Okay, so I have my glue. Here it is. I always keep it upside down in there so that I'm ready to go when it's time for these projects. And I'm just going to put it on the back of my frame. This is Aleene's Tacky Glue. So it's a good glue to use for little projects like this because it does tack up real quickly. Okay, I'll just hold it down here a minute. Okay, I'm going to get my lid on here. But I'm just going to keep my glue sideways so that we don't have to wait for it. Okay, and I'm just going to use my finger here and get rid of the excess on the side. Okay, now definitely would want to put a backing on this because when you do, you want to add your ribbon in there to hang your ornament with. So that's what it looks like on that side. We're not quite done with that. While it's drying, we're going to come in with some gilding wax. Well, I'll let that dry. We'll put that aside to dry. Let's get our green one out here and our Cardinal. We'll do the same thing. Just kind of put it where you think looks best. Okay, that one's kind of showing the tail of the other Cardinal. Maybe let's do this. So we'll come down here and get some of this berries on here on the branch. That way, because that looked kind of weird to see the tail of the Cardinal, if you can see what I'm doing. So, like, I think if we just center the Cardinal, this looks weird, and it's the tail of the other Cardinal. So let's just do this, kind of put it down like that. That way we get some of the branch, and we still know it's a Cardinal. My mom loved Cardinals. And I'm sure you know this. Most birds, the real pretty ones are the males. But with Cardinals, you know, the red ones are the males and the yellow ones are the females. And they mate for life, so which is kind of cool. And they say, you know, when loved ones pass, that seeing cardinals signs that they're still with you. I'll tell you what, I've had some experiences with that, and I believe that one. Let's just say that, I believe it. Okay, well, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just cutting out where I traced along here. I should get some grown-up scissors. What do you think? These are like cheap IKEA scissors, and they're not the best, but that's okay. They're serving their purpose. I abuse them, so I probably don't deserve really good scissors. I have sewing scissors, but I do respect them. I don't do anything else with them. And I try not to cut wire and stuff with, even with these, but sometimes I forget. All right, so we have that one. All right, we're going to do the same thing. With the glue. Okay, this time, let's go ahead and put this ribbon in here. Flip this over real quick and see if I have it centered. Okay, we have a little excess glue. Just taking my finger here. Pretty sure Aleene's dries clear. Tacky glue, I think so. Just get some of that off the sides. Like I said, you can clean it up if you want, like with an emery board or something. That even works on the cardboard. You probably could even use a little lighter there too and go along. But I'm going to let that sit a minute. And, you know, you could do the back-to-back thing with these trees too. That would be pretty. That would be really pretty. So the just to show you, so that this is a good example, and I'm going to put this screen up again. Okay, so this one, the wings, I know it's called something different, but so this one and this one are front and back to each other. So you can do that thing that I did with the Cameo with these, and then you'll have the right look on both sides. With the Cameo, didn't really matter. Where did the Cameo go? Here it is. Yeah, it doesn't really matter because it's the same shape. Doesn't matter that that's facing the other way. But with the wings, you know, obviously it's not going to work if they aren't if they aren't opposites of each other. And the same is true of the cherub. So these two are opposites of each other. Isn't this giant? That's a huge mold. I did that on a fireplace mantle, and it's so pretty. But yeah, same thing with the front and back with these little cherubs. So they're really pretty too. That's a nice thing to do. I don't want to use that much casting resin right now to do those ones. So let's put another coat on the other side of this one. I'll put the screen down again. All right, and again, we're using the mousse. And then we're going to come in and put some finishing touches on the other ornaments we did. And you know what? This might seem artsy craftsy to you, but these ones are a little more, I would say, elevated. But you know, it's nice to be able to recycle the Christmas cards, and you can even do a little more elevated version too. As a matter of fact, I do want to show you something else. I have a larger mold. Actually, there's two more that I want to do real quick. Like I said, this one is a little more high end. And the other ones you can embellish too. You can do artwork with them. They don't necessarily have to be ornaments. You can put them in a bigger picture frame or something. You could also add a little foliage to these too, some holly and berry and stuff to set it off a little bit. So now we have both sides painted on this, but we're going to set it aside again. Now, which side did I just paint? Okay. We're going to set it aside again to dry, and let me see. These two frames. So I'm going to unmold this one. So look how easy that is. This one's been sitting for a while, so it's just super easy. It's ready to go. Still a little bit fragile, but a lot sturdier. Okay, and then this one was done a while ago, but it's still bendable because it's not completely set. So I have plans for these two. So I want to do the vintage Santa in the smaller one. Oh gosh, I love these. They're so cute. But I think we'll do the serious Santa, the vintage Santa in this one. So that will just about fit in there. So let's go ahead and cut this, but we should probably paint these real quick. So I can cut this out while that is drying. And I think I'm going to do the Gemstone Mousse on this one for this frame, and I think that'll be really pretty. There's stuff sticking all over me. Okay. And same here. We'll cut this. And we'll trace this one. I think this one's going to be so cute. So we have Serious Santa and Whimsical Santa here. So again, I went to Graphics Fairy, and there's so many free images. I just Googled vintage Santa, because you know there's I think it's 75 years. If something's out of print, then you can use the images. They're without copyright. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside a minute, and let's paint these real quick. I think I'm going to use the green again with the Santa. I think I'm going to try the kudzu if it's not dried up. No, I think we're good. Because that's my favorite vintage Santa color. It's just, this reminds me, this was the first color that I think I opened from Dixie Belle. Actually, I think I opened Peony and painted some shelves. But this color I fell in love with first. It just reminds me, I think because of where I live, the vintage railroad, you know, town, there was so much of this green color that it just, to me, it's just a really cool vintage color. Trying to paint it without getting me all painted up, but I'm getting it all over the table, and then I'll probably set something else in it, but so yeah, I'm talking about time flying. It's just, there's so many things. Like I just see the calendar just filling up and filling up. It's crazy. Okay, Okay, so we'll let that one dry. And then this one I'm going to do in the mousse. Oh, you know what? I have this color too. I have the garnet. But let me see. We're using this Santa. You know what? Let's go for it. I think that'd be pretty. So you see this one's a little bit different consistency. But we're going to stir it up. I'm going to use a different handle. See what a difference that makes? It just, once that oil gets moved around in there, it just makes it a whole different consistency. Very moussey. This is a beautiful, brilliant color. I love to mix it with other colors too. If you check out my video that I just did on Saturday, I did this decoupage ballerina dresser and used this on with diamond before, and it turned out beautiful. And then in the Halloween challenge, I mixed it. Well, actually, didn't mix, but I dry brushed it over gold, and it made like a rose gold color, and it was really pretty too. So can't go wrong, I don't think. Isn't this color gorgeous? Can you see that? I love it. This stuff's in your way, I think. Okay. So when you have these details like this, you kind of have to squiggle your little brush around to get in there. Sometimes it helps to have a little firmer brush to do that. This one's a little bit soft. I think this is actually my grandson's paintbrush, but I've kind of adopted it. He has art supplies for days. I love to encourage. Their mom and dad are great with them. I have to say their mom especially. Indulges them in their arts. Encourages them. That's wonderful. I love to have a little project for them when they come here. It's just fun. Makes memories, and just they'll never forget that, you know. I know my kids, they used to paint with their grandma Harriet, and boy, they still remember that. When she'd get out, she had like a fishing box that had all of her oil paints in it, and that was exciting when that box came out. I know especially my older son remembers that real well. I'm really glad that I went with this garnet. It's beautiful. But we're still going to give it a vintage look. You know, you can do it however you want. If you want it to be real shiny and brand new looking, you can do that. You can just leave it like this, or you can do what I'm gonna do and add some Dixie dirt to it and give it a little bit of dirt, a little bit of vintage character, let's say. And I think that we can just get that out while this is still wet, and that'll be a perfect way to work that into the details. You'll have to let me know what you think of this. All right. I think that's beautiful. Okay, so like I said, let's get that dirt out, and while this is still wet, give it a little bit of age. Okay, so this one is charcoal, and it is definitely a powder. It's like dirt, like as promised. I'm trying to find a good brush for this. We'll try this one. It's a stencil brush, but it's pretty soft. So you can do this however you want. You can just like tap it on if you want, and that seems to be working. Or you can just kind of take the brush and work it down into the details and then wipe off the excess. Probably gonna have to go get a paper towel because I'm not gonna be able to wipe off the excess. So give me 1 second, I'm gonna get that. I'm back. Thanks for waiting. Okay, so I'm just gonna wipe back. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the difference between. Okay, so here's the end that we gave the age to, and here's the end that we didn't. So I'm gonna do that on this end too. So easy to do. I think this just kind of helps it get distributed evenly. Then you just want a real light hand, just get that down into the details. Oh my gosh, instant age. Paper towel fuzzy. Oh, wow, I love it. That looks so cool. Okay, and then we're gonna do one little extra thing because I'm extra like that. I don't want to forget where that lid is because I really don't want to have to clean this up. Be like those old vacuum cleaner ads where they throw the dirt on your floor. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of oink that up a little bit. Oh, and there's my tea. It's getting cold. Okay, so we have the guy. Let's get him cut out and glued on, and then we're going to put that last bam finishing touch on there. Then we'll get our little Santa done. And we have a few little more touches to put on the Cameo. And we'll take a look at the rest of them and see if there's anything else we want to add. A couple more touches to our Cardinal and our church ornament too. I'm going to get the magic potion out here last. I hope I covered all that up because it right now looks a little suspect. Okay. All right, let's see here. Yeah, that works. Okay, I'm gonna get the glue on here. Glue and dirt. You could do this sideways and do sort of a landscape thing, and you could put this inside another frame, because like this is kind of large for an ornament. So I mean, you could probably devise some sort of little prop for this. This mold, I think, would be good on furniture too. But you could do something like this. You could decoupage a picture like this on a jewelry box or a piece of furniture, a journal, anything like that. And I think it'd be beautiful. Okay, again, I cut it a little bit larger, so when it's dry, we'll get that straightened up. Wow, I think that's looking really pretty. All right, moving right along, let's get Santa cut out. I hope I'm still in the lines here. Like I said, just love vintage Santas. I love vintage postcards, and you get some really cool images from them as well. And I just printed this on cardstock, so okay, same thing. I hope this is inspiring you to do some handmade ornaments or decor, either as gifts or for your own home. And these are great projects to do with kids too. You could, you know, have the molds ready ahead of time. And they can paint them. Cut out the pick and cut out their little things to go inside. Okay, he's cute. Okay, so before I am done with dirt, let me put a little, so I'm gonna do a couple things to this. So we're getting out the gilding wax. So we're gonna do some gilding. So with this stuff, you can just use your fingertips. And so we'll take the little church here, and we're just going to go along the high points here. Oh, and this stuff smells good too, I think. Has kind of a sweet smell to it. The chameleon wax smells amazing too. They'd be really pretty to do the chameleon wax on the angel wings. If you did white and did that, that would be really pretty. Okay, so that looks pretty. And then let's put some on the Cardinal. Oh yeah, I like that. The tops of these frames have like little roses, and it's a very vintage look, and I think it's really pretty. They're all the same design, they're just different sizes. This really looks like a vintage frame. I love it. Got a little globby there. Looks better to just use a little. See? Oh, I think that's so pretty. Okay, I think this Santa we're not going to gild. Okay, so since this paint is dry, I'm going to use the gilding wax on this Cameo as well, just to give her a little extra bling bling. And then we're going to come in with the dirt. and give her a little age. But see how that extra gold on top of the bronze is really cool looking? But I do want to make sure I have it in the details so that my dirt sticks in that gilding wax. And I definitely want to add a little gilding wax to these roses here too. I'm just going to leave this laying down here. Oh my, that's so pretty. I'll pick it up and show you. This already has the dirt. So you can just do it however you like, but I think that turned out really pretty. Okay. All right, just not putting the gold on Santa. I don't know, what do you think? I want something for the dirt to stick in though, so I guess that's all I have. So sure, why not? It looks pretty, I like it. Like I said, love this. This is the first time I ever used this frame mold, and I love it. Or maybe I used it before, but and if that's the case, then it's the second time. Okay, the dirt's right in front of me. I'm looking for it. Okay, so we're just gonna do what we did before and just kind of tap it on. I don't think I'm going to use it on that one. I like that one the way it is. And we'll do it a little bit on here. Just gives it a little extra vintagey look. Okay, so then we're just going to take the brush. Just kind of brush it in and then take our paper towel and wipe it back. That looks like a just vintage locket or cameo. Look how pretty that is. You can, wipe back as much as you want. I really love it. I think it looks really nice. I can see me doing some jewelry with this technique. I really love that. So let's get a little bit of this spread around. And I think we are done. So I'm gonna put the camera up and then we'll do a last little fashion show, if you will. Okay, and just you're gonna have to let me know in the comments if you like this. So here's the first one we did, and it's the little church. And again, on this one, I would put a backing on there, and then you can attach your, whatever you're gonna hang it with in between the layers. You're just gonna glue the ribbon or whatever in there, okay? And then, and you could put these on packages too. That would be nice. Got a little dirt on Santa there. So you can spread that around. Same thing with him. And, I have one of them over here too. I'm going to be doing some journals. Maybe I'll do some Christmas ones. I love these little Dollar Tree journals. I really zhuzh them up. But this would be really cool. Right? And then you can paint the book. You can line the inside. You can put a ribbon in it. I sell these at the shop all the time. So that's something you can do. And then the Cardinal, which that color is Palmetto, and I think it looks really good. We went ahead and put the ribbon on that one before, but Again, you could put something in the back. You know, it would be nice too if you wanted to do a keepsake, like because these are upcycled, somebody's handwriting on there, because that's what I have there. I mean, that's kind of cool if you wanted to keep the card. Okay, and then there's this guy. And again, this would look cool on a book, a bigger book, or inside another frame. You could also add to the frames too, like you could do something extra. That would be really pretty, like if you put it inside a frame to do the little tree or something. You know, just trying to think outside the box here. So, and then last but not least, which you saw before, but our Cameo Ornament. And again, you could put a little sprig of holly on there if you want. But I think that's really pretty, and I think that would make an impressive little gift. You want to make sure that you get it lined up. Probably not use as much material as I did, but it still looks good. But you could, you know, take a little more care with it. So I want to thank you for joining me this evening. We've been on over an hour, but that was fun. And I hope you, let me see, what's going on Thursday? You know, not 100% sure yet. I think I know. But join me Thursday and then again on Saturday for step by step. So we always have something, furniture tutorials pretty much for you on Saturdays, and then Thursday it's more about decor. All right. You have a wonderful evening and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.